I have a pretty significant personal connection to Kirby. When I was a little kid, my association with the word video games meant Kirby. My stepdad tells me I can play video games for 2 hours after I finish my peanut butter and jelly sandwich that he made me for lunch. So you know what that fucking means? I'm playing Kirby 64 alone in my living room while he invites over a couple of his nice lady friends from the office so they can play naked UFC in his room. Kirby 64 has stood the test of time for me. It's my favorite video game ever made. It has been my entire life, and I anticipate that it always will be. I love the visuals because they're so full of charm and personality and showcase an attention to detail that I feel was kind of rare for the N64. Like, just for example, there's this bit in the first level of World 2 where after you escape a trap room inside of a pyramid with rising sand, which is already fucking awesome, you climb this small mountain, and when you hit the peak, you can see another 3 pyramids in the distance with these weird towers on either side of them, barely visible, almost looking like holograms. And the whole game is just filled with moments like these where you really stop to take in how cool it all looks. Like this shit here inside of this alien spaceship, look at all the floating shapes everywhere. Or even these checkerboard blocks just hanging out in the background of World 1. I fucking love looking at cool, mysterious structures. When I first saw a picture of Stonehenge as a kid, I told my mom that it looked like Kirby, and she said, "Son, your teacher called me today. They're putting you in a new class, and you and I are gonna have to go buy you a special helmet that you have to wear at school from now on. Also, your stepfather and I are getting a divorce." I also cherish the atmosphere and soundtrack. The music in Kirby 64 is the very best that the Nintendo 64 has to offer, with every song being both catchy and memorable and also full of amazing sounds and inventive ideas. I always think about the bagpipe synthesizer sound in this track here. Part of the reason I really got into One-O-Trix Point Never as a teenager is because some of his early music reminds me of this type of sound. I know I make music or whatever, and music is a big part of my life, but I'm not smart enough to go into specifics with this shit. I didn't study music theory or anything, I'm too stupid for that shit. I just love these sounds a lot. And I feel like the soundtrack really complements the visuals and environments and overall vibe of this game perfectly. Seriously, if you've never played Kirby 64 before, get a ROM of that shit, play it in your room during the early morning if you can, when everything is quiet and still. You will get completely lost in it. It's almost like a spiritual experience to me. It feels nice to play too, it's simple, but in my humble opinion, perfect for what it is, a Kirby game. You don't have the quick, sharp movement options in K64 like you do with a game like Superstar, but I don't play Kirby 64 to speedrun it or maximize the potential of every button press I input or whatever. I just enjoy it because it's fun, and I like the feelings I get when I let myself get absorbed by it. But even if this game is slower than Superstar, it's still got a lot to offer for people looking for cool gameplay. Another thing I adore about this shit is all the different ability combinations you can play around with. There are so many abilities and combinations you can try out, and they're all super fun. Even the ones that are basically useless against enemies, like ice plus fire, are at least fucking hilarious to use. And I love that the game just has the balls to let you try it out even though it's a stupid idea. But there are very few bad combinations, most of them are seriously amazing. Look at all this shit. Kirby turns into Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. Kirby turns into a fridge. Kirby does a Richard Pryor. Kirby becomes a body horror giant mouth tooth monster. Fucking awesome video game. If David Cronenberg doesn't get to direct the Kirby film adaptation, I don't fucking want it. It really feels like a project that was made with love, and I feel it every time I play it. That's real. That's genuinely how I feel about it. This game is very, very special to me. This game was my main window into the Kirby series. I didn't get a Game Boy Advance with Nightmare in Dreamland or Amazing Mirror until quite a bit later. Once I got my own laptop, I would play most of the other games in the series via emulation, but I think Kirby's Dreamland 3 was weirdly late in my life actually. For some reason, I never bothered to try it out until I was quite a bit older. I think the first time I actually sat down and played it was through the Wii Virtual Console. I guess that's fair. When there's so much stuff out there for you to experience and play, you're not gonna get to everything. Shit can slip through the cracks.
Anyways, I was in Vault 111. They stole my baby. Now I'm released into this beautiful world. Don't it look nice? All the colors popping and everything. Why my character got such tight pants on?
But I think KD3 immediately clicked with me when I finally got around to trying it myself. This is just like Kirby 64, but older. It's like if you discovered that your favorite TV show got a Blu-ray re-release or some shit that had like 10 extra unaired episodes in the first season, and all of them are at the same level as fucking Pine Barrens. Kirby's Dreamland 3 was directed by Shinichi Shimomura, a guy that we didn't know a lot about for the longest time. We used to think he looked like this, but now we know he looked like this. He directed a few Kirby games and kinda dropped off the face of the earth. People used to suspect that he died or that his name was a pseudonym for another game developer. A lot of people thought it was Shigesato Itoi for some reason. There are a bunch of stupid fan theories out there, but the truth is probably that he just retired from game development early and got a job in marketing or something. Who knows? Maybe he don't got internet over there. It's definitely a weird situation, but it's not really uncommon, unfortunately, especially in Japan. If you don't want to have any info out there about you, you can keep it that way. Look at Kikiyama, the Yuminiki dev. We don't know shit about them. For a while, people suspected that they were dead or something too until Toby Fox interviewed them a few years ago. I love you, Kikiyama, thank you for being you. Regardless, Shimomura directed my favorite video game of all time, and his vision for Kirby has always been the most compelling for the series, in my opinion. He did Kirby's Dreamland 2, Kirby's Dreamland 3, and, of course, Kirby 64. Dreamland 2 is a pretty nice game. I don't have too much to say about it, but it's got some interesting attributes to it. Kirby's Dreamland 1 is just sort of a first draft for Kirby. It's a cute game and all, but a Kirby game without the copyability mechanic feels like trying to drive a car without a steering wheel. Like fucking Dreamland 2 is a huge step up from Dreamland 1. There are even little touches to it that are unique to the Shimomura games this early on, like Kirby having these little body horror-esque side effects to some of the copy abilities. God, I fucking miss these so much. It's one of the coolest aspects of Kirby 64. It's a huge part of what I like about Kirby. Seeing him morph and change and adapt to the copy abilities like a weird little powerful fucking alien is really, really cool to me. When I first played Kirby 64, I was probably like 6 years old, and when I first got the cutter ability, I just lost my fucking shit laughing at this. He just throws his face. It's so awesome. I miss this aspect a lot. Like, the hats are cute and all, and I get that it's easier to make shitty little marketable plushies out of them, but man, nothing hits like this. Thank you, Mr. Shimomura. But yeah, replaying Kirby's Dreamland 2 for this video gave me a few smiles. It's interesting to see such early iterations of my favorite ideas in the series. But this video isn't about Dreamland 2, it's about Dreamland 3! Great title screen, love the music and shit. If you leave the game idling here, it plays demo footage of Kirby and his little animal friends fucking around in the levels without any music, and it's weirdly like calming and nice. I left this shit on to go squeeze the lemon real quick and came back and just kinda sat in my living room with my hands on my hips, smirking at the screen, watching Kirby pilot the little green bird guy like a toy. Cute shit. Look how cute this is. Squeeze the lemon means piss, by the way. I meant that I went to go take a big fucking piss. I emptied out my bladder full of urine out of my hog into the toilet. Just so you're all aware, that's what squeeze the lemon means. You know, because lemon juice is yellow, just like piss. Piss is yellow due to an enzyme called urobilin, and it's filtered out. The game's intro cutscene has cute art of Kirby fishing with his best friend, Gooey. Look at his best friend, Gooey. He's my best friend, too. Also, there's an eldritch god descending onto his home planet. You know, no big deal. For anybody else, this would be a time to fucking panic and freak out, but nah, not for Kirby. For Kirby, this is just another fucking Thursday morning. I really love dark matter and enjoy the early Kirby games' contrast of cute, bright, colorful stuff with the dark, scary eyeball stuff. It's really striking in the earlier games like this, especially specifically this game in Kirby 64. It's a really easy way to make these games stick out to a kid when they're really young, kind of traumatize them a little bit. Yeah, my son Jimothy is having recurring nightmares about all of his friends getting possessed by eyeball demons and turning evil. Yeah, we're gonna send him to fat camp so they can fix him. No, I don't care about the psychological problems, I just don't want to have a fat son. Alright, let's get into this shit. Kirby games mostly follow the same sort of formula, with each game kind of offering its own gimmicks or extra mechanics. This game has Kirby's little animal friends. You've got a hamster, a bird, a fish, another bird, an octopus, alien, girl, and Gooey's here. Gooey! He's kinda like if Kirby did a fucking Dragon Ball Z fusion dance with a Dragon Quest slime. I like him a lot. If you want to play this game with a friend, Gooey is the player 2 character. Otherwise, there's this funny exploit if you're about to die where you can make Gooey spawn in, and then you can eat him and gain back a hit point and a half. I don't usually play this game with him running around with me when I'm playing the game by myself. He just kinda trails behind and constantly zaps up to where I am, like in Subspace Emissary. But it's really fun to play this game with a friend if you're into that type of thing. There's also a cat in the game. He's the best one. The animal friends all change up Kirby's moveset slightly and alter the effects of every ability. It's kind of similar to the ability mixing in Kirby 64, but instead of mixing 2 abilities, you're mixing an ability with a partner character. It definitely adds a lot to this game though. Instead of there only being like only 8 abilities, there's really like 56 in total if you count every partner's variation and my math isn't fucked up here. You need different animal friends and their added ability effects in certain levels to get the hard stars, but we'll get to those later. After starting the first level, you'll probably immediately take note of the visuals in this game. They're incredible. This is one of the most gorgeous Super Famicom games ever, in my opinion. It came out really late in the lifespan of the console, a whole fucking year and a half after Mario 64 had come out on the brand spanking new N64 that everybody was already playing on. So even though asking people to shell out money for a game released on a console that a lot of people had already put in their closet was a bit of a gamble, and they had to have known that it was going to affect the sales numbers, the added benefit of releasing a game so late into a console's life is that you have the most knowledge possible of the hardware that you're working with and its limitations, and you can push this shit to the maximum potential. They used that fucking SA1 chip and this pixel blending technique to add a lot of visual polish and flair for this game, and keep it running smoothly to boot. It's really clever programming. The veil is lifted a little bit when you're emulating the game and you see this shit raw and unfiltered. Some of these trees in the foreground and some of the water effects look a little fucked up without the filter coming off of an old television, but this didn't bug me at all during my playthrough of this game. But in addition to the technical behind the visuals, the artistic direction and colors used here are just awesome. It's a super memorable Kirby game. A lot of Kirby games use really bright, vivid colors, but this game goes for a more muted, pastel vibe with more washed out colors, and it just looks gorgeous to me. I cannot stress enough how much I love these visuals. KD3 is a beautiful game, brimming with charming details, and Tetsuya Natoya and all of these designers did an incredible job with this game's assets and backgrounds. All of the character sprites are especially great too. They're so expressive and full of personality. The animal friends, enemies, even Kirby himself has so many expressions, and it's awesome. I haven't played that latest 3D Kirby game yet, but from what I've seen of it, I at least really love that they brought back Kirby making big goofy cartoon eyes and other silly expressions again. I feel like that was generally sort of lacking for a while. With Kirby, I don't really have the biggest level of contempt for where the series went after a certain point like I do with most Nintendo IPs, but I sort of lost interest after most of the games started doing the new Super Mario Bros. Thing where every game is basically the same thing over and over again. I just don't care. I know a lot of 14-year-olds out there really like all of the little lore bits that they sprinkle in here and there with these games, but I'm sorry, my sense of whimsy is gone and dead. These games have no swag, no vibes, no atmosphere. If you like them, that's great. This isn't a video made by you, it's made by me, and I'm stuck with my own stupid opinions. Fuck you. Alright, let's play the fucking game now. Sky ever shut the fuck up or not? Every world starts out with a cute little cutscene starring Kirby and some of the little animal friends. They're cute. I love how pissed off they get when you pick a friend that isn't them. It's so funny. You guys are being toxic and controlling, dude. You're allowed to have more than one friend, okay? You guys need to get your shit together or I'm dumping all of you. Your whole identity cannot just be Kirby's friend. You gotta live your own lives. Get some fucking hobbies or something, I don't know. Kirby controls pretty similarly to the way that he controls in Kirby 64. Bit floatier and slower, but not bad in the slightest. I'm right in my element here. KD3's soundtrack is also very similar to K64's, with a lot of the tunes here being early versions of songs that would straight up be in that game later. It's really nice to hear renditions of these tunes on the SNES sound chip, with a lot of the little aspects that make SNES soundtracks so unique and memorable. A lot of Earthbound-esque bloopy bloops that shift in pitch and shit. Fucking awesome. Level 1 is a pretty good introduction to the game. We're running around this cute grassy locale. There's flower petals and leaves blowing in the wind. There's a room you can enter and choose from one of 2 animal friends to accompany you. Here we have Rick the hamster and Nago the cat. Now obviously I'm gonna pick the fucking cat because I love cats, but Nago is just overall more fun to play with because he can triple jump and a lot of his ability modifications are more fun in my opinion. Rick can just jump once. That fucking sucks in a Kirby game. What am I, playing Mario here? I can fly by myself, but I can only jump once when I'm riding the hamster? No fucking thanks. Rick can climb up walls and he does have his moments where he's useful, but I think he's probably the animal friend I seek out the least in this game, which is a shame because I love his design. He's got a great silhouette, cute face, fits into the Kirby universe perfectly here. All of these guys do, really. Nago is so cute. I love the way that he squishes Kirby and the way that he like kicks his little legs when he's swimming. It's so fucking cute. These sprites are unbelievably good. The first level introduces these blocks that have symbols on them that correspond to one of 8 base copy abilities. It gives you some time to understand them before involving them in puzzle solving later on. We enter a new screen and an audio cue plays. Oh shit. Okay, there's flowers here. Haven't seen those before. Oh, they get squashed when I touch them. That's funny. Should I squash the rest of them? Why are you sad? Are you sad because I squashed all your friends? Would it make you feel better if I squashed you too? So obviously every level has a secret objective that you gotta figure out on your own. If you're not a dumbass, you can figure out a lot of these pretty easily. Like, obviously flowers are delicate. We want to avoid touching them in this level so they can stay alive and happy. Now that we've done that, the character at the end of the level, in this case one of the tulips, gives us a heart star. We're gonna need every single heart star in this game in order to get to the real ending. In some ways I actually kind of prefer these to the crystal shards in Kirby 64, because at the very least there's just one thing to do in every level instead of 3. Some of them are complete and total bullshit that no sane person would ever figure out on their own, but most of these are fine, and some of them are actually pretty fun to figure out. Level 2's heart star, unfortunately, is not one of these though. So to explain, the heart stars all follow a loose pattern in every world. The first stage of every world is going to involve you interacting or not interacting with flowers in some way. The second level is going to require you to interact with or do something for an NPC in some way. The third level makes you play a memory game of some kind. The fourth level makes you bring something or someone to the NPC at the end. The fifth level asks you to finish the level with a specific animal friend in tow, and the 6th level is kind of a wild card, it varies. So okay, sure, in World 2 we see this fucking stupid guy that has a stupid green head shaped like Piccolo's green ass, and he's just chilling in one of these rooms. Okay, what the fuck do you want? What do you want from me? What you're supposed to do is link up with Choo Choo and smack him in the face so he can go, mommy. But how the fuck was I supposed to infer this outside of just trial and error? I mean, look, alright, I'm not really mad about it. I honestly kind of enjoy the process of playing these levels over and over again, and it feels good to finally figure some of these out after a lot of meandering. But I cannot imagine most people being in the same boat as me. I guess most people would just look this shit up online now, but what the fuck were you supposed to do in fucking 1997? They didn't have the Kirby wiki back then. You just fucked? You just screwed? What am I supposed to do with the green butthead guy? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody help me with the green butthead guy in Kirby's Dreamland 3? Level 2 is cool though. I like the parallax scrolling clouds up here, and Choo Choo is a fun friend to run around with. She can hang from ceilings, and Kirby makes the best face he's ever made in the history of the world when she's hanging out on top of his head. Oh shit. Kirby's got a special helmet on just like I had to wear in elementary school. He's just like me. I could do without these green assholes that jump scare you though. Fuck. I didn't see that coming. This is like the 8th time I've played through this level today and they're still catching me off guard. This is a me problem. I should start meditating or snort some ketamine or something. Can I just bitch about another thing real quick? The auto-scrolling shit in this game. It's not exactly egregious. There's no Yoshi's Island long John Silver cave or anything. But I never get to one of these and go, oh boy, an auto-scrolling section. Yippee! It just doesn't happen. I'm so glad they only brought back this idea one time in Kirby 64. It's actually fun in that level because there's a giant wall of lava chasing you. It's really fun to look at the background set pieces and stuff. But there's just a little bit too many of these and they make me mad. Okay. Anyway. The third stage in World 1 introduces our first memory game minigame, and I've never really had trouble with this one. All the different Gordo faces are distinct enough from each other that it's pretty easy to parse which one you're supposed to pick every time, even if you only see it for like 3 frames. I think it's a pretty well-designed minigame, and the plus side of literally all of these is that they're not missable in the stages that they show up in. So if you fuck up, you can just go back and try it again. Oh no, I messed up the minigame, now I have to play more of the video game for another chance to do this correctly. Why do so many people complain about this shit? You're mad that you have to play the video game more? Mommy, the top half of my Lego castle fell down and broke. Now I have to spend the next 30 minutes playing with my Legos to rebuild it. I fucking hate playing with my toys. I'm just being an asshole here for no reason. I know exactly why people hate these, but I also think they exaggerate how annoying it is. I'll put my sword back in my fucking sheath for now. I'll spare your putrid little idiot gamer lives this time. I really like the Gordo's designs, by the way. I think they're basically a perfect depiction of an invulnerable enemy. Like, you just look at this guy and go, yeah, I can't fucking hurt him. I'm just gonna steer clear. I don't exactly know why that is. I guess it's the pure black surrounded by the spikes and their slow movement and minimal animation, making them pretty different from typical Kirby enemies. I've always really liked these guys. I'm happy that they're a series staple. I fuck with Waddle Dees and Bronto Burts and shit too. A lot of Kirby enemies are just really well designed and I like seeing them every time. This guy in Amazing Mirror rocks. His name is Chip. He doesn't give you an ability though, so I guess he actually fucking sucks. Level 4 has the game's first cameo appearance. This game's got a few of those. In this level, we have to find a monkey named Goku for this girl named Chao, who are both characters from Yuyuki, a text-adventure game for the Famicom Disk System that's loosely based on Journey to the West. I don't think that there's an English patch ROM of this or anything, but I did find someone's English guide online if you're curious about trying this out yourself or whatever. Put the fucking URL on the screen here or whatever. I remember learning about this game and a few others like it because I really liked the Shin Onigashima remix and Brawl back when that shit came out. I was curious as to what the fuck Shin Onigashima was and discovered the original music and fell in love with it pretty hard. I still love this theme a lot and hum it all the time. It always gets stuck in my head while I'm at work or busy doing stuff and not thinking about anything. If you don't know what I'm even talking about here, the Famicom Disk System was basically a floppy disk reader that you could attach to your Famicom system if you were Japanese. We didn't get that shit over here. Basically think the 32X, but not a complete and total financial disaster. Through this thing's added features, games with slightly larger scopes could be developed, and you could also do shit like save in Zelda or Metroid. This thing's history is kinda interesting, and it wasn't very well liked by third-party developers back in the day because Nintendo was so anal retentive about everything. Like they would continue to fucking be until the end of time, making them give up 50% of their copyright for anything made on one of these stupid cheap floppy disks. But I'll let you look all this shit up yourself. Yuyuki and Shin Onigashima were two text-adventure games released for this system that obviously featured pretty heavy storytelling and a focus on characters, and they both have cameos in Kirby's Dreamland 3. I remember first playing this shit and thinking, these sprites do not look like they match everything else here, and I was totally right. It seems like they just ripped them directly from the game or directly copied them or something. I couldn't find any overlap for staff between these games at all. I'm assuming that some of the Kirby's Dreamland 3 staff was just friends with the dudes that worked on the Famicom Disk System adventure games, but I can't be 100% sure. Either way, cool. That's why the monkey looks fucked up here. Level 5's icon pops up and we immediately see a girly fish character, and I think this does a pretty good job hinting that you need to finish the level with Kine, our fish buddy. Kine sucks ass in Dreamland 2, moving super slow unless he's in the water, but he's buffed like crazy in this game. He moves fast, has basically only super great abilities, and can still move really well in the water. I don't even mind that he only gets one jump because all of his other traits make him fun to play with. I personally find it fun to make up my own stories in my head for all of Kirby's animal friends in this game. Like on the Kirby wiki, it says that this pink fish is Kine's wife. She kinda looks like Kirby with the pink coloring and the red cheek blush and shit. You think Kine looks at Kirby and goes, damn, he's actually kinda my type? Like, do you think he secretly really enjoys having Kirby in his mouth? World 1's boss is Wispy Woods, who's typically the first boss in every Kirby game. And I like how the different games try to switch him up after a bit. Like in Kirby 64, you have to kill his offspring. How did the tree fuck? In Superstar, you have to fight multiples of him, and in this game, he gets really scary and starts fucking walking towards you when you deplete his first HP bar. I like how he like growls at us and shit. They really wanted this to catch you off guard, and I imagine that for a lot of little kids it totally did. Not me though. I'm not scared of anything, except for kidney stones. and people that have committed the age of consent laws in every state to memory. World 2 is the water world, so by default it's the worst one, even though I like the beach locales and the cute little details like these animated starfish and the ground tiles in this level. Can't see shit in here though, fuck my ass. Level 4 has my favorite visuals in this world. I really like this white water temple environment a lot, but solving this puzzle is kind of annoying. You'll probably get through most of this level and see this little sad frog and go, huh, how the fuck do I get there? And just be confused until you use Kind's flashlight ability and notice that there's hidden shit everywhere in the darker parts of this level. I do enjoy that there are lots of random rooms with goodies and one-ups and stuff in them, and I like the idea of lighting up the environment with a specific character ability. It's cool. I just get kind of annoyed at the fact that the secret area to get the little frog baby is basically impossible to find without this ability, and you have to use this flashlight during this auto-scrolling section to see that there's a door here opposite this other door, fight a mini-boss, and then save the frog. I guess I appreciate the fact that you could potentially accidentally wander in here if you're just spamming the up button and bouncing around all willy-nilly and shit, but I don't know, I'm not crazy about this one. The first level of World 2 does the partner ability key to Heartstar lock thing a little bit better in my opinion, with you needing to water these flowers using pitch with the clean ability to lob big water bubbles at them. It's cute, and I even really enjoy that you can overwater them and kill them, it's funny. I also really enjoy seeing abilities where Kirby's shape-shifting amorphous body-altering shit comes into play with the animal friends too, like Kirby's able to transfer these properties to them when he's with them like he's an alien symbiote or some shit. Or maybe the animal buddies can do the shit themselves. Maybe there's more to them than what's immediately obvious on the surface. I guess that makes sense actually. Clearly Gooey and Choo Choo have weird properties to their biology that lets them do weird shit. Why not the rest of these guys? Maybe these aren't animals at all, maybe they're mimics.
What the fuck, is that a fucking cat? Hey, don't fucking look at me like that. That's a weird looking fucking cat. Ma! Ma, there's a weird fucking stray cat outside!
This game plays around with some outside of the box thinking sometimes, in both good and bad ways. I really like this bit in World 2 Level 5. See, you might see a pink bird here and go, oh, I need to bring Pitch with me. I'll just grab him from an earlier level and boom, puzzle solved. But the game anticipates this shit by placing an underwater current here that you can't get past unless you use Kind to swim past it. I really enjoy the roller coaster of emotions of going, haha, smarter than this stupid video game, to oh god, they're 2 steps ahead of me. Feels like I'm losing a chess match to nobody. It's really great. The level also does this bit that I like later with this simple puzzle. You have to use Kind's fire ability to blast away all the firestones, and then leave him to squeeze through this tiny passage because he's too fat to come with you. Grab a rock enemy and then go back to clear the big pathway so he can come with you. It's not the most elaborate or smart puzzle ever or anything, but it's just complex enough to feel really satisfying to finish in this game. Just be careful not to enter any doors without Kind or he'll fucking despawn and you'll have to start the level over. But once we're past that, we can use Kind to get past another current to grab Pitch, the character that we need to end the level with. Is this Pitch's girlfriend? Damn, she's thick as fuck. Is Pitch into BBWs? Damn bro, I'm sorry for any previous disrespect. I clearly was not familiar with your game. I'll leave Pierce Brosnan here with his wife. Okay, I looked it up and it's his mom. Alright, whatever. I'm leaving the architect bit in anyway, I don't give a shit. The final level in World 2 is fun. We find this room underwater with this guy that looks like a character from a 2010s pixel art indie game. We have to recreate his shape on these blocks in the next room. It's a pretty fun exercise, not really challenging, but creative. I think the devs really liked this idea a lot too, because it comes back again in this game later, and then again in Kirby 64. I like the face the little guy makes when we solve the puzzle for him too, he's really cute. After that, we put the last singular remnant of an endangered species out of its misery and irreversibly fuck up the ecosystem for everyone in Ripplefield. Yippee! I'm getting a lot of mileage out of yippee in this video. Hey, did you know that hamsters can breathe fire? Yeah, they can, it's true. All you gotta do to get your hamster to breathe fire is dry hump the fucking shit out of the back of its head. World 3's got a lot of fun levels in it. You know how most Kirby enemies don't really have any strategies other than slowly walking towards you or jumping around? There are these little caveman guys here that are just itching to start their careers as professional baseball players, and they'll reflect anything you shoot at them. I respect the hell out of these guys for not taking my shit, but I'm still gonna stunt on them by sliding underneath them. It's not their faults, they haven't evolved enough to be able to comprehend my shit. I'm moving different. There's also this unique NPC that you only see in this level, this little rabbit guy. The game rewards you for being curious enough to watch him for a bit, and you can follow him into this secret passage to get a 1-up and a bunch of star pieces. I like that the game sometimes puts these weird, kinda but not really enemies in the game. I like the little bunny thing, and I like the little fucked up Kirby mimic that shows up sometimes that you usually can't even attempt to attack because he's in an inaccessible area. Also, this level was the first time I realized that Pitch can fly while carrying Kirby even if he's holding something in his mouth. He's so fucking cool. He likes BBWs and going to the gym. I mentioned a while ago that there are a fuck ton of abilities in this game if you factor in every Animal Friend's little spin on them. But the base abilities as they are with plain old Kirby are all as solid as they've always been. And this game even introduces a new one called Clean that just has Kirby sweeping with a broom. For some reason, if you look up videos about this game on this website, you'll notice that a lot of people are not a fan of this ability at all.
Staple of the series that are taken right out of Dreamland 2, and one brand new one, Clean. And it's seriously Kirby dusting with a broom.
I don't know if I can handle this.
Yeah, I don't know how much more I can handle either, buddy.
Now the game only has 8 power-ups in the entire game, and that's including the new sweep ability. So awesome that the sweep replaced something great like the sword, isn't it? Oh well, at least it can make Kirby fly like Harry Potter when Team...
Why is he so passive-aggressive?
An even more noticeable sluggishness to Kirby's movement and attack speed, and even more completely useless abilities than before, with a special highlight given to the fucking cleaning ability, which is basically useless in every way unless you're using Nago.
Jesus
But hey,
fucking Christ, he sounds so joyless. Somebody get this guy on an SSRI.
And it's not just my opinion that this game was dumb too. My girlfriend was watching this game over my shoulder and she's like, "That's it? That's the entire game?" I'm like, "Yep, that's the entire game." She's like, "Why are you bothering to go through this torment?" And I said, "The things I do for my YouTube audience." And then she gave me a kiss from all of my loyal YouTube fans that have been supporting me grandly throughout my video game reviews.
But hey, don't worry, I'm here to set the record straight. This ability rules. I don't really understand the complaints. It's a simple ability, but it's perfectly functional. Kirby obliterates whatever's in front of him with this shit. You can even use it in the air. It's way more fun to use than Stone, and nobody complains about that one, but fuck what I think. I'll just let the footage speak for itself. But even if this ability wasn't fun to use and wasn't a perfectly competent offensive option, it'd still be one of the best abilities in the game because look at how fucking cute Kirby looks with his little broom. In level 3 of World 3, we find this underpaid immigrant housemaid character and help them clean all of the black mold out of this building they're working in. God damn it. These fake door enemies are starting to piss me off. Like, the idea is clever and shit, but the game is starting to make me develop new mental illnesses. I like this mission though, it's fun to feel productive and helpful, and our new housemaid friend is so happy that we helped her out. You can feel that way too, you know. You should pause the video and go do your dishes. You'll feel better. They're just sitting in the sink, I know they are. Just go do them. Every stinky YouTuber that criticizes this ability clearly just needs to clean their rooms. I mean, look at all this garbage that's piled up. The final level of World 3 is one of my favorites in the entire game, if not my actual outright favorite. Oh shit, that is Stonehenge. Once you traverse this desert path, you reach this ominous black pyramid and enter it, and everything gets all weird looking with blue spaghetti flying around in the background. We reach this cool hub area that we have to swim around in, and if we take the bottom pathway, we're given a mini rest area sort of deal with access to every copy ability in the game from these cool sword guys, and all 6 of our animal buddies are chilling out down here. From here we can deduce that we're gonna need to play around with different abilities and partner combinations to figure out what the fuck is going on in this Yuminiki ass pyramid. I like the this level a lot because it requires the best kind of outside-of-the-box thinking to successfully get the Heart Star. We've got to find all the different body parts for Rob. You know Rob. The funny little robot man that they invented to sell NES systems in the West because Nintendo thought us baka gaijins were too simple to understand something like a video game system and that we needed a toy attached to it in order to get invested. Because really, why would you waste your time doing this? When this is obviously a much more fun use of your fucking time. But yeah, the level. If you take this path here, the spaghetti gets a much needed dousing of marinara sauce, and we realize that we need Kine to swim past this current here so we can grab Rob's arm. But unfortunately we can't get through because Kine can't get up here on his own. We need the parasol ability to make Kine float over the gap so we can make it past. This level is just full of these little situations, and it's a lot of fun to figure them out, and it's cute to see Rob and Dr. Hector all happy and shit at the end. This level's locale is obviously a precursor to the alien spaceship level in Kirby 64, but I really like the first iteration of these visual concepts here. It's really surreal and memorable and stuff. Awesome fucking video game. I'm trying to not compare this shit to Kirby 64 all the time, but it's hard not to. I'm cursed with my own first-person perspective, and I mean every comparison is the biggest compliment. It's also really funny that if you don't get all the Rob parts, you just see whatever pieces of him that you did find sitting on the floor in front of the professor at the end. That's kind of brutal, bro. Oh no, that's my comfort character. It's my comfort character ripped to shreds. Oh no. Alright, I've been looking for an opportunity to use Pitch's electricity remote control ability since they showed it off in the title screen demo footage earlier. Let's try it out on World 3's boss. Oh wow. Somebody call a fucking ambulance. I really like when you finish a world and get every single Heart Star, you can see the dark matter literally seeping out of the ground and escaping, like all of our good deeds are actively pushing the active threat away. It's a really nice detail. I even brought out Gooey so he can do a little victory dance with us. I love that he attaches himself to the bottom of the warp star. He's such a little weirdo. I wish he was in every video game ever. Like lately I've been wanting to replay Deus Ex for the 29th fucking time, but now I'm just like, oh man, my friend Gooey isn't gonna be there. What's the fucking point? The majority of World 4's levels are sky themed, taking place either high up enough in the clouds to be surrounded by them, or on top of them, or inside of them. The only animal friend I haven't really talked about in depth yet is Koo, the other bird character. I take back what I said about Rick earlier. I think this guy's actually my least favorite to play with in this game. He's really great in Dreamland too, but this game is significantly faster than that one. And he kind of feels slower to use because you sacrifice ground movement for 8 directional air movement, which is admittedly cool in some instances, but it's not usually my go-to. I at least appreciate that he switches up the gameplay more so than any other character. If you attempted to play through this entire game using Koo as much as possible, you'd have a very different playthrough than someone that plays this shit normally. Similarly to Kine with the water currents, Koo can push through air currents. You know, despite Pitch spending all of Kirby's savings on protein powder and weights and Planet Fitness subscriptions, he still can't do this shit. This is purely Koo's territory. So yeah, he's needed for one of my favorite levels in World 4. We're inside of this cloud cave and the currents are all over the place, making it impossible to properly navigate back and forth unless we hand Koo the controller and be like, hey, beat this shit for me. I really like the background of this level. It kind of reminds me of Yoshi's story or later on Kirby's Epic Yarn, with the textures kind of emulating a paper cutout style. It's fun. The parallax scrolling is really apparent in this level because we're getting blown around in the wind so fast all the time. It makes the level feel really big and spacious and stuff. It's cool. As an apology to Rick, we're gonna take him through the next level so he can go see his wife. It kind of feels like we're high up in the sky of Magic Hand from Mother. I half expect to see some suicidal buff as fuck chicken men flying around back here, but instead it's just these little ghost Waddle Dees. It's nice of them to make a path for us to bounce over, but why are they ghosts? Who would kill a bunch of Waddle Dees? Who could do something like that? Utterly despicable to even think about. No one has suffered more than the humble Waddle Dee. The wolfish and malevolent Kirby destroys his toys and eats all of his food, tearing through his kin like a couple of White Castle sliders in someone's lower intestine. The last level in World 4 is a giant strawberry-shaped castle, fucking, I guess. I like all the drawings that come to life off of the walls and that it continues the cloud motif indoors. Where the fuck do you get carpet made out of clouds? Dreamland IKEA locations probably have insane stuff on the shelves. Couches made of stardust and nightstands made out of glitter and sunshine and shit. World 4's boss is Adeline, or I guess she's named Addo here. For some reason, some people seem to think that these are different characters, but come on, look at this shit. I'm not even gonna bother dignifying this discussion, it's stupid, they're the same character. She paints stuff to come attack us, just like in Kirby 64, but she puts up a lot more of a fight in this game. She paints that big dopey ice dragon, an anglerfish, the sun and moon boss from Kirby's Adventure. What are their names? Mr. Sun and Mr. Bright? Are they, you know, do you think they ever explored each other's bodies? And Kracko! I love Kracko. He looks awesome here. I'm still gonna pop his ass though. I like that Addo gets so pissed off that she has to try and fight us herself, but she's just a little girl and can't do anything. Oh my god, stop being so fucking dramatic. I just slid on the floor. Look at this Looney Tunes ass shit. Now that we've purified the majority of the planet with our righteous holy power, we've got one world left, Iceberg. That's DDD's castle up there, but it's got a big scary eye on it now. I guess that's where Dark Matter's hiding out. You know, I don't really know what Dark Matter's deal is. What the fuck is their plan? Do they just want to take over entire planets and make all of the people that live there violent and evil? We repel their forces by committing acts of love and spreading happiness, so I'm guessing that's like rat poison to them. I guess love makes them uncomfortable, huh? That just makes them the perfect opponent for Kirby, the kindest and most happy creature of all time. Come on guys, let's go finish this last world and go fuck Dark Matter right in the eye socket. I like that the last world is snow themed. I think it's cool to bookend the game with spring at the beginning and winter at the end. Pretty obvious shit, but it pleases my smooth and tiny brain. The final cameo appearance in the game is in level 2 here. We get to kill some Metroids for Samus. This one I have mixed feelings on. If you're familiar with the Metroid games, then you'll probably immediately kinda get that you need to use an ice ability to kill them. But how many fucking Kirby kids are also Metroid fans? Especially back before Smash Bros came out. I feel like the intersection on that Venn diagram isn't as big as you'd think. Not playing Metroid has kind of always been a Nintendo kid's staple. I'm not trying to act like people that played Metroid games when they were younger or superior or anything, but it's just kind of a puzzling addition here. It rules though, and Samus even has a unique sprite. It's kind of funny that they didn't bother making unique sprites for Chao or Hikari, but for Samus they were like, ah, fuck. This is a real celebrity appearance, we've got to make her shit pop. I think I do like the sprite, but the lack of hair animation paired with the heavy snow just kind of looks a little bit off to me. Maybe originally they were going to throw in Samus' sprite from Super Metroid, but they had just enough time to make one singular framed sprite of her or something. It's funny that if you beat this level without killing the Metroid, Samus just stands there with her helmet on. Oh, come on, honey, why are you so pissed off? You could murk these little cretins in 2 seconds. What the fuck do you need my help for? Chef Kawasaki shows up to give us our last memory game, but this one's hilariously a bit easier than the previous ones because it relies on sound instead of sight. You've just got to pick out which sound matches the sound that his pan makes when he slaps the top of the Gordo. I prefer this one to the visual memory games a lot. I kinda wish more of them were sound-based, but it's okay, it's the last one anyway. The last 2 levels in this game are awesome, although the second to last level is the only one I remember having to actually bring in something from another level into. I think every other level in this game is self-contained in that it provides you exactly what you need within it in order to get the hard star, but this one requires you to finish the whole thing with Nago, and he doesn't appear in it at all. I guess that was their idea of making the final Animal Friend-centered level the hardest one? I don't really know. This level's really great though, it has a really unique atmosphere to it. It's one of the longest levels in the game, and it's mostly made up of small rooms. It just kind of feels a little claustrophobic, and as a result, you kind of get the sense that you need to escape while you're here. Pretty memorable level in my opinion. Nago's little girlfriend is cute too. All of the Animal Friends counterpart characters are really cute, and I like them a lot. It's funny that Ku doesn't have one. I guess nobody else likes Ku either. Probably because he has an alcohol problem and erectile erectile dysfunction. The final level is a boss rush of every mini-boss we fought in the game. We just have to swallow every mini-boss after we defeat them because we'll need their abilities to break the blocks so we can get all of these feathers for this little angel character. Her design is really likable, it's super simple, but it looks like a precursor to all of the fairies in Kirby 64. Can I share something with you all that might surprise you a little bit? I've never really talked about it before, but I really love fairies a lot. I love little women flying around with bug wings and casting spells and shit. It's just a really great trope. I always really like seeing them in games and cartoons and shit. The Fairy Queen in Kirby 64 was, probably when I was young, the cutest character I had ever seen before. She might be my soulmate. She's probably the reason why I think glasses girls are so fucking cute in anime and shit. After I'm done editing this video, I'm gonna cut my own head off with a fucking chainsaw. After all that, we've gotta fight King Dedede, but the way he's animated makes it look like he's just trying to show us his new dance moves. Yeah, looking good, man. It's really cool how his stomach opens up and shit. They did this again in Kirby 64, but I think it's a little more impactful here. Once we defeat him, all of our friends watch us piece together all of the heart stars into the Star Rod. Sorry, not the Star Rod. It's called the Love Stick. This name is terrible, man. I kinda get what they were going for, but it just sounds like a fucking dildo. Went to your mom's house the other night and saw a Love Stick under her bed. Final boss is kinda similar to Kirby's Adventure. We're flying around and shooting hearts at dark matter. This reminds me of Mother's Ending a little bit, but instead of just singing a song about love, we're blasting him in the fucking face with it. This fight's decently challenging. It's definitely harder than Kirby 64's final boss fight, although I do find that one to be a bit more memorable and unique and stuff. It's also cool to see Zero in a more primordial form. He's so fucking rotund in this game. I also really love that if you have Gooey help you with this fight, you can see that he imitates dark matter, or that he's spawned from it or something. It's the type of reveal that raises a bunch of questions without answering any of them, and I like that a lot. I'm sure there's info out there about why Gooey has dark matter abilities, but I'm just gonna choose to believe that Gooey is just a special version of dark matter or something. Like, he's made out of the same evil dark shit, but he's completely uninterested in assimilating with the ideals of his kind. He just wants to hang out with his friends and have fun. You know, we first meet Gooey along with Rick, Kine, and Koo in Dreamland 2. Maybe Rick and the others found him somewhere and they just immediately treated him as a friend, and that's why he's not evil. It's kind of amazingly sweet that he was a dark matter the whole time, right? Like, that kind of means that deep down, even these fucked up abominations have the potential to be friends with us too, if they're shown love. It's not a guarantee, obviously. No amount of love you show someone is going to make them love you back, or change their negative or hurtful behavior. People ultimately have to choose who they are, and what they'll do. But it's just a nice thought, I guess. For every Zero out there, I guess I like to think that there's also at least one Gooey, too. Once we deplete Zero's health bar down, this shit happens. I love knowing that this exact animation is probably seared into the mind of every child that played this game. Actual stuff of nightmares. It even feels uncomfortable to play this last part of the boss fight. He hones in on us like a wounded, angry animal. We just have to continuously smack him with the stick until he's dead. It's unnerving, and I don't think anybody that plays this game is going to forget how this boss fight feels the first time they play it. I really love this last shot in the game, just Kirby floating over the now peaceful Dreamland. I like that no text pops up or dialogue or anything going, "Hey, you did it, congrats." It's understated and subdued and serene. It's over. Shit's gonna be okay. We couldn't turn Zero or dark matter into our friends this time, but hey, that's fine. Good job anyway, Kirby. We're treated to a lot of cute illustrations in the credits that I really love a lot, including a bunch of drawings that Addo draws. I especially love her drawing of Kirby. He's making a great face here. After we finish the game, you'll notice that we're only at 97% completion, and the reason for that is that there are a few sub-games to play, including a boss rush, in order to actually get 100% on the save file. But you know what? I'm not gonna do this shit. Doing all of these bosses with one health bar and no copy abilities or animal friends is insanely hard. Rather play through Blight Town while undergoing knee surgery. I'm content with the 97%. I do appreciate that all the boss fights have different backgrounds in this mode though. I really like the autumnal wispy woods, and the forest where these guys live being on fire is a really memorable visual. But also, what the fuck kind of name is this? Boss Butch? Is there a boss femme? The other stuff to play around with in the options menu is about what you'd expect. There's a sound test room with some stylish funky text, and the coolest song I've ever heard is the default theme that plays in here. There's also MG5 and jumping. MG5 stands for Memory Game 5, I think. It's not exactly something I'd spend hours playing, but it's cool to have all the memory games together in a sort of boss rush type thing as well. And it's cool to see the new backgrounds and stuff in these too. Jumping is a mode you can play where you do the end of level jumping minigame with progressively harder, more specific goals until you die. It's fine, I mostly just really like this character select menu with all of these unique icons for all the animal friends. I wish GUI had an icon too, but I'm not going to cry myself to sleep about it or anything. You can go back to the boss rooms if you want to see what the boss characters are doing now that everything's chill again, but that's pretty much it for this game. I really like it a lot. It feels like a slightly faster and harder version of Kirby 64. I think anybody out there could have a lot of fun with this shit, especially if you like Kirby 64 even half as much as I do. It's a really fun game, it's super charming and easy to love. I wish more people would play it and appreciate it for how nice it is. Kirby has just kind of always been this buddy that I've had all my life. He's always there, always positive and fun, and his happiness is infectious. This game, and a lot of Kirby games for that matter, are just the types of games that you play and just feel nice afterwards. If you've never played a Kirby game before, maybe try this one out. It's got a beautiful and comfy atmosphere to it that I really just can't get enough of, even if it doesn't have enough fairies in it. Okay, that's the end of the video.